How we doing?
Oh, Pine.
Good. Your week was busy?
I had a busy week. Finally.
Good. Yeah, nice.
Good week for me this week.
I'm sipping my coffee that I got just a little bit ago from the 1855 Coffee House. They're located here in Mazo, and right down. Mazo's not very big, less than 2,000 people, obviously, and you go down from our house. You go down a hill on Broadhead Street.
Okay.
So we're about a mile away from we're about a mile away from everywhere in Mazomanie. And so you go down there. You've been there, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
You haven't been there. I'll have to take you there.
It's the old bank.
It's the old bank right at the T of Broadhead and Hudson Street, which is the main drag through the downtown, Broadhead and Hudson. And right at the flagpole is the old bank. My mom used to work there. We used to go there as kids and even into high school, college.
I didn't know your mom worked there.
Yep, she did. And so I went down to get a coffee, and I've been down there before, and Michelle is the owner. And she and her partner, Scott, own it. And he's also a real estate guy. I've never met him. And I introduced myself via email when they first came to town and just said, I'm a voiceover talent. If you ever need something, happy to do it. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to push it because I'm plenty busy and I don't do that much local work anyway. So I just thought, well, I'll throw it out there, probably give them some sort of a discount.
They'll give you free coffee for the rest of the year.
That's what we should do.
Good
That's what we should do. Yeah. And so I walked in there today, and she was all smiles, which she always is. And I said, "How you doing?" She said, "I'm doing fine." She turned to this gentleman sitting just off to my left and said, "Scott, this is the voiceover guy." And so he and I talked for a while. We traded emails, and he says that he might come on the podcast sometime. So that'd be kind of fun.
Local small business owner. That'll be fun, hopefully.
Yep. So Scott and Michelle at the 1855 Coffee House. Last week we had BJ and William.
Yep.
And so
longtime friends.
I think if people, I don't know, I'm open to people in the local area.
If local businesses watch this, or, we reach out to you and you guys want to be on here, either email us, contact us, in the comments section, talk to us, whatever it takes. We'll be happy to get you on here and talk about your business. And that's what we kind of want it to be, is something a little bit more hometown-ish, but also voiceover related. So what do we have today as we think about 15?
Yeah, number 15. I have in my Todd's tips and it's kind of a blend of Todd's tough love. I've been told that it's not that tough. My tough love isn't that tough. So I don't know if I'm going to count down anymore. Maybe I'll just blend it in and you'll just have to take it. People just have to take it. But I'm going to start a series, and I don't know how long it's going to go, but it's going to be on Todd's do's and don'ts. Okay. And they're all mine. But there's probably quite a bit that people at least can evaluate, whether they incorporate it in their voiceover or business or whatever. But there are do's and don'ts. And then I know we've got John is going to come in.
From
John,
Marketing Pro.
My son, your brother, is going to be here on the couch. And he'll not only give us his numbers or the VOMP numbers, you'll give yours, I'll give mine. But we're going to interview him locally, a local business, VO Marketing Pro, and just tell what they do for voiceover talent and the different levels that we have that people can
offer.
Yep. So I think that's it, isn't it?
Well, Drew's going to be here, and John will be here for the couch potatoes and our fun segment. I think I mentioned it wrong in the commercial. I said Alaska, but we already did Alaska. So I think it's Arizona. We've already done Alabama, Alaska, and then, sorry, I got a little bit of burping. I went to Quick Trip. Okay. Real quick before we start. Yeah. And they have these like beef sticks. Oh, and I bought a lot of them. I don't know how many there are. It was a bulk package, but I've had like 3 or 4 today, and they're very good.
I think you spend a lot of time burping because in our taste test of
that was because
Coke,
of the pop.
Yeah. But now it's pop and beef sticks. We're gonna have to keep a list here of things that you burp over, because I guess we're just real transparent and real off the cuff here, real laid back. So you're just burping on our podcast. Yeah. But I suppose we ought to get started.
Yeah, we probably should.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey, this is Bill DeWees, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast, where father and son talk about all things voiceover and probably a little bit more. This week is our 15th episode. Dad has some Todd's tips for us. We've got our numbers, as always. John's going to be here with VO Marketing Pro. Drew will be here for our fun segment. We've got just loads of fun coming your way. Loads of truth loads, and then other loads of fun. So...
And we want people to feed back. I mean, we don't want this to be just a one-way, trip, if you will. I mean, we want it to be, certainly we do a lot of the talking. Obviously, we're not live at this point. But, as far we're live right now. I mean, we're live.
But we don't do it. We don't do a live show.
Like YouTube streaming or something like that. And so it's up to you to feed back to us, whether via email or via comments on YouTube or Facebook. And some people are doing that. So thank you very much for doing that. Those. There's some local people. Sally Morrill. Yeah. She comments regularly.
Every single week, and we appreciate it.
And I don't know where Sally's from.
BJ does too. I don't know.
Sally, where are you from? Oh, maybe you don't want that information. Yeah. Maybe you don't want to be connected too close. With us. But then there's BJ, he'll comment. Calbert will
Cal Handle does.
Ruben will comment. I don't know if he's ever commented on it, but he comments as we take walks.
Yeah, he's commented. Yeah. Word of mouth way.
Yeah. So anyway, comment, feedback, tell us what you like, what you don't like, and we'll focus more on that.
Yeah.
Or at least we'll focus more on that.
Also run on over to vomerch.com. Get a mug for yourself if you're in the VO world. If you're not in the VO world, well, maybe you want to have something VO inspired. I don't know. But they have all sorts of things, mouse pads, maybe some pens. They've got some apparel, cups like that. They've got the whole shebang. So go on over and support vomerch.com. So you've got some Todd's tips.
I do. And we're going to focus on this for a period of time. And I'm going to call this Todd's do's and don'ts. And I want to emphasize something, and I'm going to do it every single time. The reason I'm going to do it every single time is because I've been a public figure. I've been on the radio since I was 18 years old. And I'm 62 now, so I won't do the math, but that's a lot of years. And I just know that when you say something publicly, people can, not even on purpose, they can just twist it, or they can take a portion, or they only hear what they hear. And I just want to make sure that I give these caveats or put an asterisk on this. So I'm always going to say these as a preface. These are my do's and don'ts for me. And here's why I say that. I'm 62 years old. That makes a big difference.
Sure.
It's different than 26. I have an established voiceover career. I'm 12 years in. That makes a difference. I have had multiple six-figure years for over 5 years now. I live in a very small town in the Midwest, so that's just who I am. I've always lived here. I don't have a business degree or a business background per se. I'm quite conservative when it comes to financial things. I'm non-union and I'm full-time. My point is I may be different than you are. And so just take that into consideration when I explain these things. Don't say, well, Todd does this or he doesn't do this. I have to do that. Just simply take it, apply it. If it applies to you, then do something with it. So here's my first I don't. It's an I don't. I don't concern myself in an ongoing way with my audio quality or my sound chain or my gear. I don't do that. Now, again, don't run off and say, Todd doesn't worry about his audio quality. Is he nuts? Well, I would be nuts if I didn't worry about that. Of course, you have to be concerned about your audio quality. You have to have a quiet space to record in. You have to have good enough gear to at least come off as professional.
Sure.
In that space. And you have to have consistent audio quality, high audio quality. You've got to be able to reproduce, like if you do a demo with somebody else in their studio, or they soup it up, they sweeten it or whatever, you've got to be able to reproduce that audio quality for every client. But once you achieve that high quality audio, get to building your voiceover business. Unless something changes, your space changes, your gear breaks, whatever you want to upgrade, stop worrying about your audio chain once you get it established that clients like your audio and will accept it. Now, if you want to be an audio junkie, an audio guy, kind of be a geek like that, that's fine. I get that, but not me. I'm in VO for one foundational reason. That is, I want to pay my bills and take care of my family. That's what I want to do. And so once I found that I had a good recording space and a professional equipment that clients liked and would accept, that's all I cared about. I have that in place. It's good to go. Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to do something with that. I'm going to build my business. I'm going to market, and I'm going to keep working on that. So that's what I think about. I don't spend time. Once I've developed my audio chain in a nice, quiet space, or as quiet as I can, I don't concern myself with that. And so sometimes, this is maybe the tough love, sometimes I hear people, I'll call it belly aching, because that's the, being, kind of complaining and saying, well, I just don't get enough work. Yet I hear them on Facebook or see them on Facebook, or I talk with them personally, and all they're worried about is gear. And I sometimes have asked some of them, well, do you have a good space? Yeah. Well, do you have good equipment? Yeah. Well, are clients accepting your work? Yes. Well, then why are you looking for new equipment all the time? Why are you concerned about that? Get to the business of doing your business and stop worrying about that. And so I hope that makes sense to you folks, and that you'll at least think about that. Again, if you want to make equipment your hobby, do it. Knock yourself out. I don't want to have a hobby. I want this to be a business, and I want the business to grow and be sustainable. And so that's what I want for you too. And so you don't have the super greatest audio equipment. You don't have the super greatest space. You got a hobo for it.
I sure do. But it does enough. And I figured it out I'm a little bit different than you. That might be something that is a little bit different. Like you said in your first couple things, that you're 62. You have, in this case, you have a professional studio. You have a whisper room. You have a really nice microphone. You got nice equipment. I have good enough equipment to get me by right now. Mm-hmm. At some point, I would like a whisper room. I would like a TLM, whatever it is, 100 or whatever you have. Mm-hmm. There are just certain things that I would like to upgrade to. But at this point, I'm not going to. I have a goal set up of amount of money I'd like to make in my hobo fort. And that's what I'm going to go for. And it's good enough that I get plenty of work, right now. And I want to continue to grow my business and stuff like that. But I'm not just rushing right away to new audio.
And I don't think, you can set me right, I don't think anybody, with the exception of wanting to record live on Source Connect or Zoom,
correct,
I don't think anybody has ever said, this audio isn't the greatest. You better maybe go to your dad's studio or go to a studio. They accept it. You've got great audio. You've got great presets. You got
Alex
plugins.
Did a great job for me.
Yeah, Alex DeWees, and he can do that for you too. Let's put his
they had the VO Tech Mastery class. I don't exactly know what Alex's email is, but I'm sure you can get it on BillDeWeesLive.com, because he's part of Bill DeWees's team that he has. So
so you're going to concern yourself with that. But as far as I know, as you build your business, you've got enough quality, professional quality, that clients are accepting. And so for right now, until you, and I don't even know if you know what that is, and I'm not sure I know what it is, but you're able to say, okay, right now I'm going to build my business. I'm going to market, going to, be client-centric, all of these different good business things. Yep. And then there's going to come a time when I make enough money, I'm going to start thinking about upgrading and stuff like that, getting a whisper room or whatever. And that makes perfect sense. But in the interim, you're not spending time looking at all sorts of stuff and dreaming and daydreaming and talking to all sorts of people and spending all the time you could be marketing and honing your craft and such. Once
I set up my studio with my Hobo Fort and my presets and my microphone and my Adobe Audition, I haven't changed anything on that since then. I've just stuck with it. That's also kind of who I am. If something works well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Because if something gets messed, if I mess something up, then it's like, oh, great, now I got to change, I got to fix it. And I don't like doing that. I like things to be the same for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that's a really strong point of yours, and it should be for everybody, that they discipline themselves once they get that quality that will be accepted, and they'll be paid to do it. Then work on, your skills. Work on your auditioning, work on your marketing, and let that just kind of lay there until you're making enough money and you want to do the investment of time and money and energy to then upgrade. But yeah, I think you're exactly thinking what you should be thinking.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
So that's my first don't. And there'll be some do's, but there'll be some other do's and don'ts. And again, we'll continue to have those as the days and weeks progress.
Hi, this is Mike Praviti, and you're watching the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Well, should we go ahead and get our numbers? John's here on the couch, and we can start with VOMP's numbers for the week.
Sure. So as we said last week with the holiday season, we actually refrained from sending any emails out.
This whole week?
Yeah.
Got it.
So I know that Andy sent some out on behalf of the roster, over 800 emails sent out on that. So we did send out in that case, but none sent out on the personal level, if you will, for the voiceover talent on our team. So that does not mean, obviously, a little caveat, doesn't mean that we aren't going to get your numbers in for the month. What you paid for will get sent out. So there's no problem there. And we'll start sending out.
It's just for your benefit because.
Correct. Yeah. More emails at a time.
Yeah. Well, and you don't want.
Oh, yes.
You don't want any deleted just because of the holiday or people, holiday hangover kind of type deal.
Yeah. So so these would not be from anything that came this week. So these are old warm responses, but they came in this week. 12 warm responses. And we had 7 auditions, a few that we're still waiting on, and 6 jobs.
So just let's make sure people understand this.
Yep.
There wasn't any emails sent out this week. So
Correct.
These are all a week or older.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have
Emails.
specifics
Correct.
that are out there that came back with 6 jobs. How many warm replies? 7 auditions and how many warm
12
replies?
warm replies.
12 warm replies.
Yeah, and
Proves a point.
Those aren't your numbers, right? You didn't. Those aren't part of your.
No, I did not. I never include yours, even your jobs.
Right.
That doesn't even include the jobs.
Right.
What I will say is some of the auditions that we did receive this week. I mean, obviously they were from people that hadn't responded, or they were from people that that either people have worked with in the past. But we did have a few people get auditions that the email that they replied to from us was sent out over a year ago. So again, as we say,
They're out
many
there.
times they're out there, and we do see them coming in. That's why the long haul, not only for yourself and multiple emails out there, but they do keep you in mind probably more than you think. Some of these places do. So that's.
Have you ever heard
news.
of volunteer corn? Have you ever heard of that phrase?
Is that the stuff that comes up because you've planted it a year before in that, or years before?
Yeah. Sometimes we'll walk. We live in a fairly rural area. You can walk out of our house and go a block, and you'll be out in a cornfield or a bean field or whatever. And sometimes in a bean field, you'll see a bunch of corn stalks coming up. Those might be a year old. They might be several years old. Kind of the same idea. You plant those seeds, they come up. They just come up randomly when you least expect it sometimes.
Yep. So the people that got the jobs, I'll give a little shout out to Christine Brito. Got 1. Greg Campbell got 3.
And Christine's was a good one too because it sounds like it might be
Correct.
returning, continuing,
Return,
ongoing. Yep.
descender.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. 1 for Kim Wilson. You did, like I said, 3 for Greg
3
Campbell.
for Greg Campbell. That's
3.
5. Kim Wilson's 5.
Yep. And then
altogether.
Tyler Boss got 1 as well.
6. Yeah.
And
very
then
nice.
I will say that I do remember because Joe and I were talking about this. There was one guy that we haven't confirmed yet that he did get the job 100%, so we won't say that, but we're pretty sure that it's tied in with the job with Christine.
Good.
So
that could be an ongoing one as well. Not only reporting that maybe next week, but there might be jobs coming up.
Correct. Yep.
Consistently. Wow.
So, that's
a good 4-day week with no emails sent out.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You want me to go?
Good job. Yeah.
All right. This week I had a pretty good week. I had a guy on Fiverr that got a hold of me. He does YouTube videos, and he sent me 4 scripts in a week, which was nice. So all $100 a piece.
Not real high paying, right?
Not really, but for me, they're high paying enough.
And money in the bank when you're not working, fill up your days.
Yeah. Gave me some practice, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then I had a new client this week for $100. Then I had a person that I've worked with in the past. It's been a while, but they came back and used me again. So that was nice. My total for voiceover this week was $560. I had, like I said, 4 jobs on Fiverr, 2 jobs off of Fiverr.
Nice.
So Fiverr's doing better than it has for a while. So that's nice. And a new client and an old client. So then I also did some editing for you for a grand total of $680 this week. I don't know if that's my largest. I haven't kept real close track. It's the largest I've had since we've done the podcast. I'd have to look back at some of my more busy months that I've had and weeks. So
$600, how much?
$80.
Almost $700 in voiceover this week. And voiceover
and
related. Yeah.
I also did not send out this week at all. And I had one warm reply back from, maybe a week or 2 ago.
And that was considered a 4-day week as well because the holiday was Monday.
It was. Right? Yep.
Well, that's nice. Was it just 2 weeks ago you were reporting zero?
I had $0
income?
made, yeah.
So that kind of helps.
It does.
Jack that up a bit for the last few weeks.
Evens things out.
Yeah. Now, did you report warm replies? And
I just said that I had only had one warm reply and I didn't send out this week.
Okay.
So maybe I should not send out every week. Just kidding.
Yeah. My numbers, I had 2 warm replies, 1 new client. And by the way, just a little bit of information about that. At the halfway point, July 1st is the halfway point. I don't know if it's exactly the halfway point. I think it's really close, but, you have 6 months from January to end of June and then July to December, 6 months. So it's a halfway point. I've had 25 new direct email clients this year.
Nice.
Already, 25. And out of those, 5 have used me again. 1/5 have used me again. So those are ongoing. And that's, again, how you stay in the game on the long haul, get a lot of emails out there, and then just let the seeds be out there. Let the fishing poles be out there. And that's a lot. I've had 50, 60 sometimes each year, but that's 25 new clients with 5 coming back. And that's what will happen with people if they stay with it for a good amount of time. And this is 4 days. I worked 4 days, although, like I said last week, I said I have kind of a global client base, so I didn't know if I would get work, and I did. So the platforms, $1,671.06 for the 4 days, and direct email marketing, $4,052.52 for a total of $5,723.58. $5,723.58 for 4 days.
Wow.
So nice. That was better than I thought it was going to be. So I'm glad about that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, next we've got John. He's going to stick around for the interview of what VOMP has to offer, a little bit of a history of VOMP and stuff like that as we close in on 2 years here soon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So join us for John's interview next.
Hey, how you doing? This is Todd, and I'm glad you're part of the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. We'll get back to more of the podcast in just a second. I just wanted to tell you about another company that I'm a part of. It's a company that I helped start with my 6 adult sons called VO Marketing Pro. VO Marketing Pro, or VOMP, is just simply
a company that helps market, especially direct email marketing for voiceover talent, maybe somebody just like you. And if you want to find out more about it, all you have to do is just look below. There are links. There's a phone number there. And there's all sorts of information out there on the internet. Just Google VO Marketing Pro, and you'll get our YouTube page, our Facebook page, our website, and you can check us out. So make sure you do that. And now let's get back to more of the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Welcome back to the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. We've got a special guest. Johnny's here from VO Marketing Pro. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what they offer, a little bit about the history. We're going to kind of just talk about it, all of us together. So I don't know if you have any questions, John. Welcome back. I know you were here for the numbers, but that's what I got.
Yeah. I think it's important. I think there's a lot of people that watch that hear us talk about VO Marketing Pro and they hear us give the numbers. But there might be some people, either voiceover talent or video production companies or just local people or anybody that watches the podcast that might not know when we talk about VOMP or VO Marketing Pro. So maybe the first thing we'll do is just talk about, what we do.
Sure.
Then we can talk about maybe how, the idea was born and birthed, and then we can maybe talk about the levels that we have to offer people right now. So VO Marketing Pro is a direct email marketing company for voiceover talent.
Correct.
And it's really built on what I did, which was I hired an assistant back in 2016 to do my direct email marketing. And now you guys do that for other voiceover talent.
Correct. Yeah. So the whole goal is to make other voiceover talent successful through direct email marketing. And with our living database, which we've described a few times, I think, on this podcast, but I'll describe it again. It's so Andy, Dad's assistant, goes on to the actual websites of all these places, all these video production companies, and makes sure that they're a legitimate video production company that does that or needs voiceover. And then we find their contact information and then add that to the database. And he's done that for several years now for you, and he continues to. But what we do, the living part is that when we send out, we want to make sure the legitimate emails. So we have at the bottom of it an unsubscribe if people just don't really want to get it. And that makes it so that it's a legal, legitimate email going out. And then we'll send out, and then if we get any unsubscribes or undeliverables, meaning there's not an email address there anymore, or for whatever reason they didn't get it right, we take that out of the database. That day, we take that out of the database. And then Andy will go back and look at those websites, because lots of times the undeliverables are because, Steve at ABC Video Production Company left, and now Amy is the person that's the contact person. So he'll find that and put that back in the database. Or there's sometimes where the companies aren't there anymore, which happens a fair amount. Companies go, and a lot of companies are coming. So video production companies are coming. So he handles that, and then we just make sure that the unsubscribes are out so that we don't get back in contact with those people so that they're not upset on those things. But all the while, Andy is also looking for new people. Like I said, they're coming and going all the time. And so United States, United Kingdom, Europe in general, he's looking for places, Canada, and adding those to worldwide. So we're always working on that database, and I believe last check, around 17,500 emails or contacts.
Yeah. Yep.
And so anyway, that's what we keep that. That's what we call a living database. Others sometimes we've seen places that there are people that sell lists, and those are just difficult because you just don't know for sure if those are legitimate emails, or even video production companies, or even video production companies that do voiceover. But ours is a clean living database. And so that's what
And we go through, like you said, we go through it. You guys go through it. Andy goes through it. I go through it when I get it. We go through all of the undeliverables, unsubscribes. We take them out right there when you get them.
Yep.
And then we also go through at the end and make sure that any additions, subtractions, changes to those different production companies, whatever, is put in. So each month, it's being updated.
Yep.
Not only is it being updated by the week with unsubscribes and deliverables, it's also being updated, the whole thing completely.
Correct.
Every month.
Correct.
I've been doing direct email marketing since the end of 2011. I hired Andy in 2016. So I was paying him 12 hours per week. And so I've been doing that. And then I had another assistant for several years who did editing for me. But whenever he wasn't doing editing, he was also digging for new companies. So this database has cost my company, Todd Barsness Voiceover Talent, probably close to $150,000 over the years. But I think I just checked, and it's about $1.4 million that my company has made on direct email marketing in the 12 years. Most of it in the last 6 years.
Just email marketing.
Just
not
email
anything
marketing.
else. Just email marketing.
And so I guess my point is the ROI, even though I've spent that much money, the ROI for my company alone, let alone the ROI for VO Marketing Pro, which you use the exact same database that I do. All of these emails have been sent out on my behalf many, many times, a lot of them. And all the new ones are sent out and then given right to the VO Marketing Pro database for randomized use for all of our clients, which is around mid-40s right now. We have about 45 or so, don't we?
Yes.
Clients at different levels and such. So it's a living database. It's kept up to date. Andy, I just talked to him on 4th of July. He's digging right now, I think, in Switzerland, and for their English-speaking needs in other countries. And then he's going to go back soon and go to the United States because he hasn't done that for a few years. And so, companies have come, they've come and gone, but a lot of them, we already know that they've gone or people have left because we keep up to date with that. But there have been new companies, video production companies, ad agencies, voice rosters that have popped up and gone into business just in the last few years. So we'll be getting more from Canada, the United States, UK, things like that. Real English speaking, what you think about when you think about English speaking countries.
Correct. Yeah, and then what we do, we also get lots of warm responses from those emails that we send out. So then what we do is we send those warm responses to the respective voiceover talent that we sent out on behalf of, and then that's their client, or it's their warm response to stay in front of and to cultivate a relationship, hopefully that'll result in jobs to come in the months and years.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. You help them from start to finish. It's not like, hey, we'll just send out some emails. You got to come up with a template. You got to figure out your own database kind of and keep in track. Really, you do almost everything for them by giving them a template, helping them through it, help them personalize that. You send it out, and then what you or Joe do is then just forward that on, any warm replies, which would be things like, what would you consider a warm reply?
What are your rates for a 30-second spot, TV spot? What is, we'll keep you in mind.
We've added you to your roster.
We'll keep you in mind.
What's your workflow? What's your equipment? Where do you live? Anything like that shows some interest. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Yep.
And you guys forward that on, just like Andy forwards it to me, and then it's my responsibility to get back with them and then stay in front of them, because those are the people that have showed interest.
Correct.
They've said, we like you. And so to keep them in a database, you ask the VO Marketing Pro people that we represent to keep those people in mind and keep in front of them.
Correct.
Every few months, and with some new update and stuff. So let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
That's also with the cultivating of it, we also have, you guys also do a vetting process of people to make sure that they're, because it's our name, VO Marketing Pro, behind it, we want to make sure we have voiceover talents that also do a good job of getting back to those clients and stuff like that. So that reflects good on us, it reflects good on.
And we'll get into that more as we talk. I'm not cutting you off, but we'll get more in that when we talk about the programs. Excuse me,
programs.
But one thing that we vet them for too is that we just don't. We want them. The whole that I said was a core value and core idea, if you will, of our business is to make people successful through direct email marketing. the big thing is we want people to have success. And so if you're not ready, direct email marketing is not for the faint of heart and not for the new people necessarily in VoiceOver. Right. There needs to be a professional demo or demos and then some good samples. And there needs to be the ability to do the VoiceOver work. And so anyway, we want you to be successful and we don't want to just take your money. And so we're going to vet you because we want you to have success because that's our goal. And we want to have success by, helping you out.
If people have questions, they can ask. And I know you're going to flash the different programs later on as we walk through those. Damon's going to do that in post. But maybe we could move, if people have questions about, the programs and different things like that, we'll talk about that. But maybe something we've covered, you say, I'd like to ask a question about that. Feel free to ask. We'll try to cover that in the weeks to come, or we can get back with you. But as far as just a little history of VO Marketing Pro, because to me, I know it's our business, it's our family's business, but I think it's kind of interesting because we do it. I mean, it's just our business. And a few years ago, you guys, my 6 adult sons, were talking about, Dad, is there some business that we could do together as a family? And we knocked a few things around and even tried something, and that didn't go super great. And so you came to me maybe 2.5, 3 years ago and said, Dad, what about that database? I mean, here's this huge database at that point, maybe 15, 16,000 globally. And you said, how about if we offer that to other voiceover talent? Could they use that? And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. And so we beta tested it right about this time 2 years ago, right in the middle of COVID.
Yep.
And we found what we knew already, that it would be successful because it's successful with me and anybody that stays in it the long haul and does the, numbers. It's a numbers game. But then we just started to slowly grow and grow and grow. But I just think it's kind of interesting because, we started out with just 3 voiceover talent that beta tested it for us just to give us the confidence, yep, this will work for other people too. And, we've taken off since then and now have, like we said, maybe 45. Right around 45 clients that we work with right now. Yeah. I don't know if you had any other comments about the history of, but it's only we're only 2 years old. And so we're still, we're still feeling our way through and figuring things out. And I think it's your business. I'm kind of a spokesman for your business, but you 6 Barsness boys own it. And so I think you've done a great job with VO Marketing Pro. And I know the clients are pleased and working hard themselves.
Yeah, no, I don't have much to say beyond that, but Joe is the mastermind behind the database, and he's really good at that, and we both care quite a bit about what our core value is, and so we enjoy working with people and really appreciate those that have started with us from the beginning, and some of the people are still there, have been with us for well over a year, and we're very appreciative of that.
We're almost to the halfway mark, but before we get to, the programs, I guess maybe we could just walk through, you're the oldest son.
Yep.
Just quickly, what do you do? We can talk about, maybe you can talk about what Drew does, even though he works full time. You can tell Joe, Hudson, you can say what you do for VO Marketing Pro. We can talk about Damon and Deshaun. So go ahead.
So I'm the oldest son. And so I handle being on camera, I guess, with this, with the numbers and with just handling the
VOMP spokesman,
the PR, I guess. But I also handle anybody that's interested in the company. So a VO artist that comes to us, I will actually talk with them. Sometimes I've talked with them on the phone, or I will get an email set up. That's kind of the easiest way to get a hold of us right now, through email, and we'll send you stuff just because it's nice to get the information sent out to you and ask you some questions just for our vetting process. So I handle that, and then I handle some of the bigger. We've got a roster of voiceover talent, which we'll get into that a little bit with the programs as well. But I handle some of the specifics on. We've got a bigger thing that we're adding to the roster, our website, pretty soon. So I've been handling that back and forth with the person that's handling our website, and then some of the bigger projects is what I handle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then just speak to Drew. You know, he works full time in bonds for an insurance company, but he also
makes cold calls on behalf of our roster. And what he's also doing is with all the emails that Andy's sending out on our behalf, there are a fair amount of warm responses from video production companies specifically regarding our roster. And so what he's working on is cultivating a relationship with those people, some of whom have used people on our roster a few times, and so that we can make sure that they're happy with things and that there's a relationship growing with that. Kind of like an individual voiceover, when we send a warm response, cultivates that relationship. That's what Drew's working on. So that's he's worked in some call center situations, and so I don't think it's anybody's favorite to make cold calls, but he's more comfortable with it, and he's pretty quick on his feet. So he's a nice person on behalf of the roster in our company to be talking with people. He's very professional and does a great job.
And all of you boys have different minds. You know, you have different strengths and weaknesses, and he brings kind of an organizational. He's kind of a nice guy to have in the company, owner of the company, but a little bit outside. Yeah, he brings a little bit of consultant. If you will. And then there's Joe.
Yes. Now he's the database is kind of I don't know if you don't know much about IT work, you just kind of makes your head swim a bit, and that's a little bit what the database is to me. But Joe is really good with it, and is always
he sets up everybody's individual sending out patterns that they have. He also makes sure that, you know, if there's a warm response, he sends it off to those people, gets a hold of them with auditions. He onboards them, gets their emails all set up, stuff like that.
Yeah, so he does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, day-to-day stuff, and he's very good at that, and he
bends over backwards. You guys both bend over backwards to help our clients.
Joe's a great guy to have on your team.
Yeah.
He really is.
And here's the other thing. When we were first starting, we were looking for an automated system, but it just didn't seem to be what we were into. We would rather have a small company where we really kind of had our fingers in the database and we knew who was sending where. And so he sets up an Excel spreadsheet for every single client and then somehow keeps track of those and makes sure those are managed. And it's just more of it's a lot more like a personalized thing like Andy does for me. Correct. That's exactly what it is. It's a personalized database. It's not just some automated type thing so he's very careful with that too. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And then Hudson?
Yeah. I've done a couple different things. Like when I first started, it was like doing some searching, digging for different production companies and stuff like that. Right now I'm actually going through India and doing kind of a search for myself / the database. So I go through the database or I go through on the internet in the biggest cities in India, and I look for e-learning, video production, whatever it is, and I cross-reference it with our database and make sure it's not already in there, and then I add that to the list for you guys. I've done some other things. I'm not sure exactly, more behind-the-scenes stuff, but at some point, hopefully, as I get more experience as a voiceover, I can also help out, answer questions and stuff like that, and get to know, do some more of the vetting process as it is with you're kind of a consultant, and I'm part of it because I own some of it, but I also am a voiceover talent. So being able to do those things for you if you don't want to, stuff like that. So.
And at least at this point, we're not adding that. We have a lot of companies in our global database of 17,500 or whatever that come from India, but this is something separate and it's different, and there's a purpose for that in mind, and we'll unveil that as we keep going here. And it's a little bit more for those people that are maybe just wanting to start doing some direct email marketing. Yep. So maybe that'll be something we have coming up in the not too far future. Yep. Then Demond does.
Yes, Demond does all the editing.
Invoice. Well, Go ahead.
He does all the editing and stuff for these podcasts.
Does all the video stuff,
which is important to both companies.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes,
TBVOT, Todd Barson's Voice Talent, and VO Marketing Pro, and so that's great. And then he does all the invoicing for us. So Yeah, he's really good he's
Mr.
expert in
Faithful.
QuickBooks.
Yep. Mr. Faithful.
And he's
Mr. On the
also
ball.
in a project right now with the database, which is we're always trying to make sure we're as personal, making the emails as personable or personal as possible to these video production companies. So like I said, if there's a Katie or a Sam or whatever, that's the contact person, that's the name in the subject line, so that it doesn't seem like an automated email. Yeah. And so he's working on a project along with Mom actually on that. So and then Deshaun finally is he's working on a project for the database as well. We just want to make sure that going forward we're able to market in different ways too, which is we think that it's kind of an email format, if you will, but contacting people and getting relationships built through LinkedIn. And so he's actually going through the video production companies and finding their LinkedIn information.
So let's move. We've got about 10 minutes here. We don't want to go any more than that.
Okay.
So let's go through the programs and maybe just take a couple of minutes and do the best we can.
Yep.
They're going to be flashed on the screen,
exactly.
or you are,
so I'll
a
hit the
link
main
anyway.
points.
So please do.
And or if I miss anything or anything, you'll see it on the thing. So starter kit, that's who we put everybody in the program if they start with us, because we want you to be able to get to know us, and we want to get to know you. And it's a month-to-month thing. You can get out of it whenever you want to. You can also move up whenever you want to. So if you start at 25, you can move to 50. If you want, you can move to 200 if you wanted to.
25 emails all the way up to 200 and 200 emails. 25
increments.
Yep.
And so we also, with that, and all these, I'll say that we want to have the hybrid approach, which is you send out emails on your behalf or on your own behalf, and we'll send out emails. And that's the best, is to get as many emails out as possible.
The more the better.
So you still get the same great service that we offer everybody, no matter what program you're in. But that's what we want to start off with. So the main point is to get to know you, and us to get to know us. So that's the starter kit. And then Total Care, which is an invite only. It'll just kind of depend on our relationship when we kind of talk about that, or what we decide with that. It is $400 a month.
$400. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And it's 20% in perpetuity for the jobs. So you get a job for 100, we get 20, you get 80. That's how it works. And then it's 400 emails per month as well. And so $1 an email.
Do you automatically get on the voice roster?
Yes.
Okay. So you get on the voice roster, and if you get a job off of that,
correct,
then it's 20% for in perpetuity. In other words, if they keep coming back, then you pay 20% for good.
Correct. And we also include any sort of, the 20% as well would be any sort of referrals from Todd, you. Because without without that,
that's our connection with
VO Marketing.
The database is from Dad. Yep. So if you get anything from Dad or VO Marketing Pro or the roster, it's 20%.
Yep. So that's the Total Care program. I think I covered, again.
Which, by the way, is very, very standard. Voices.com, they're 20%. Fiverr's 20%. A lot of them are right at 20%. So.
Yep. And so that's it for the Total Care. I think hit everything there.
Yeah.
And then we have what's called a personal assistant program, and that's where you get one of us. Right now it's Joe and I. We have a few people that are in that, and we will be your personal assistant like Andy is to you. And that's that'll be decided when we invite you, like what the price will be. We'll discuss that. And then that's 1,200 emails per month. So that's big. And you'll also be on the roster as well. I mean, yeah.
The whole point is again, we think about that funnel, and you try to pour as much in as possible, because the more you put in and the longer you stay, just like it is with me, like I gave the 25 new client, and then I get 5 returning clients. Well, those 25, I've put out thousands and thousands of emails to get those 25 new clients. And then to get 5, but that's how you keep building that business. 5 this year, 6 the next, 10, and all of a sudden you've got 30 to 40 returning clients, and you've got, over $100,000 at least in direct email marketing income.
How much do you pay Andy a month, a year? What is it that you pay? Because would I be right to say that if people end up getting invited to the personal assistant that's like Andy, even though the amount is to be determined that they pay, it won't be as much as you pay, which is
I pay $15,000. I pay $15,000 a year for him to work part-time for me,
which is obviously a great value. Some people I don't think understand that, but you're paying somebody $15,000 a year where the price will be, quite a bit less than that for them to have this exact same thing that you do.
Yep.
And they didn't have to do, other than pay, they didn't have to do a whole lot like you did, where you had to create everything. Anyway.
Yeah, Joe has said on many occasions, not to toot the horn of VOMP, but it's just the reality. And I went through it. And anybody that's watching that does their own direct email marketing, you go visit each one of these and look around, try to find a creative director or whatever, somebody that accepts demos. First, see if they are using VoiceOver, then find the person. It's going to take you 15 to 20 minutes at the least to then send out an email and then, get it back and keep track of it.
Yep.
So you have to, you said that last week, I think, you have to put that in your mind when you think about, what do I get paid an hour as a voiceover talent? Is it $100 an hour? Is it $200? Well, all of a sudden you start to think, and that's why one of the other reasons that we are more looking for more established people, because oftentimes you need to be at that point where you're at kind of critical mass where you need to hire somebody like I had to. But if you aren't at that point, one thing that we don't talk about very often is my assistant, Andy, about a year and a half ago, I asked him to put together videos. Exactly what do you do for me? Exactly.
Yep.
And it's very step by step and it's exact. And he shows examples and it's do your own direct email marketing. And that's not even part of those things. But
it's part of that document that Don has. So Joe, Damon will flash it at this point here, that DIY. And what that is, it's $200 for 2 videos. And that's well worth it.
And that's if you have more time than money.
Correct.
Right.
Or if you want to do the hybrid approach, I think it's a great thing for people that have time as well as money, especially for those that are in the starter kit. It's going to take some time to ramp up, but we're seeing success at all levels, and that's what's great. It's great to have as many emails as possible and us to send them out. That's great.
It's also hard to swim in the deep end right away.
Yep.
When you're not as established.
It's just going to take some time. So, that's just what happens. But there is success at all levels. So we're not short selling it. Short selling you by sending out 20. It's what you can afford. That's great. 25, you can see some success.
It's better than nothing.
There's people out there waiting, like we said earlier, that keeping you in mind, and just do it on your own as well. That'd be great.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by and talking. We've wanted to do this for quite some time, just have an interview about VO Marketing Pro, because we talk about it regularly, but we've never had something that just encapsulates the whole idea and to talk it through. And so it's been good to kind of wade through it. And if, again, people have questions, they just write them down or email us.
We're very quick at getting back. And
VOmarketingpro.com is our website. You can look at our voice roster. We have a Facebook. We have a YouTube channel.
Joe's email will be up on that top, where Damon flashes the document, so you can get a hold of him there, and one of us will answer, and there's a phone number as well. So, but email's probably best for that. So.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, John. Next, we have up our fun segment with John and Drew here as the couch potatoes. I think Drew's going to want to sit on the couch today, so we better give it to him.
I think the couch potatoes are rebelling. They want back on the couch.
Yeah. All right. Join us then.
Hi, this is Mallory Handford, and you're watching the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
You're repping.
Yeah, Mustangs.
Oh, the old Mustangs jersey.
Is that the jersey you wore last night?
No.
In the big win?
No. Those are nicer. Those are probably from early 2000s.
Yeah, this was the dark ages between my first stint. I call them the dark ages because it was without me. The first stint, I played for 2 years right out of high school, and then stopped playing for about 5 probably, and then came back and played. So these are the dark ages. These are the non-Drew years of Mustang Bank, which were dark, very dark
So
years.
you never wore these? You never wore this?
I never wore this. I don't
Okay.
ever remember these jerseys. I mean, I may have. I can't remember it though.
Why do you have that?
Dan was getting rid of
Dan,
the old
general
coach
manager,
and general manager.
Yep.
Was getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and I always like,
Vintage.
yeah,
Yeah, I do too.
it's kind of cool.
Basically, Dan is Mazo baseball.
Correct.
He's kind of the
Dan
baseball
O'Donnell,
godfather.
Yep.
Yep. And when you were just out of high school, you played, what positions did you play? Did you pitch a little bit for them?
I did, yeah, a little bit, mainly on Thursday nights, which is for our listeners, it's kind of the JV league, and that's no
Developmental.
cut, but it's just
Developmental.
It's,
Developmental,
more
yeah.
developmental
AAA.
league, yeah. And then the Sundays is kind of the, best players play. But anyway, I pitched on Thursdays, and then on Sundays I started at second for a while, and then they had a guy that had played second for years for them that they shifted out to the outfield, and I had a couple games that weren't the greatest at second for whatever reason, and so they shifted us around. I went out to the outfield. I played center field, and then he played second. So I played center field quite a bit.
You did a
those
good
2
job
years.
out there. Remember that, but that you're not the quintessential.
Yeah.
You're more of a quintessential your body style and stuff. You'd either be a catcher, second baseman, or third baseman.
Yeah.
But you pitch too.
Yep.
And hey, the guy that we had on, the Marine, the guy that's going to be a Marine from last week's interview,
Yeah.
Will and BJ, he pitched last night.
Sure
Did a
did.
nice job.
Yeah.
For the victory. He was the winning pitcher, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sure was.
Yeah, well,
Well, should we get to...
There's your Mustangs minute
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Mustangs moment, depending on how you.
It's more than a minute, yeah, with Dad.
Right.
hey, what did I do wrong?
Dad just starts off on a tangent. Anyway, go ahead, Drew, with
But that's what this session is all about.
Oh, yeah.
Anything but
Yeah,
VO.
you're
So
right,
we're
exactly.
we're
We're
okay.
fine.
We're still under the umbrella.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did I say anything about? I did mention voiceover collections.
Yeah.
Yep.
I said
Sorry.
something too. So
Stay away
I'm
from
in the
that.
same.
We should have a little bit of a jar for VO swears.
Oh yeah.
Oh, swears jar. VO swears jar.
Well, today we've got Arizona as a state. If you're keeping track, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona is next. And so kind of following the same things that we've been doing before. We got a couple different state, flower, bird, tree, motto, animal, which is really a mammal, but we'll kind of go there.
Remember now, I said this 2 weeks ago. Alabama, never been to. Alaska, never been to. Arizona, we have all been to. So we're somewhat authorities now. No more of this guessing. We know what we're talking about.
Correct.
For the most part.
And when we were there, we did a fair amount of traveling to different areas. I remember looking up couple different places that they've got there. We got Grand Canyon National Park. We went there.
Is that
Although that was
north of Flagstaff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's way up there in the north part. Doesn't that also border another state?
Utah, I think.
Utah. And then we went all the way down to Wilcox and even just below that to
Nogales.
Mexico.
Oh, we were
yeah, you
supposed to
forgot to
wear
have
our,
your
Oh.
sombrero.
That's all right.
And my Lakers thing.
I wonder if Damon can do a post.
Yeah, we can do a picture or whatever.
or that, or he can
Damon
just
might be able to put one
fake
on Drew's head.
ones
Damon, if you can put
Yeah.
somehow in post production,
and
put a
put one of
sombrero.
those blankets on Johnny.
Yeah,
Isn't
one of
that
those
what you got?
Ponchos.
Poncho.
Yeah,
Poncho?
something
Yeah.
along those
What
lines.
else?
Yep.
What else do they stereotypically have for Mexican?
Well, John could
garments?
speak some Mexican for us right now.
No.
We could
There
all
it is
we
right
could
there.
all we could all get some nice mustaches.
You've got a
I shaved mine.
mustache.
Yeah. Well, I've got the
He
whole
said
thing
nice.
True.
going. True.
Maybe like a cowboy hat.
I feel like I'm far away from this. Are you picking me up okay?
Plenty.
Your voice.
Plenty.
Okay.
Very rich.
Mhm.
Okay.
I can't hear it. I feel a little odd this year. This week without the
It is different.
headphones.
You feel like you're missing out on
Do you
something.
feel like you're not as in charge being here? Because you were right
Front
there.
and center.
In fact, right at the end, I don't know if people remember this, but you were saying that the podcast. Have you started any work on your podcast, the Drew Barstas podcast?
I
You
have not
mentioned it
yet.
last week.
Nobody's mentioned anything about me starting my own, and so I decided to just listen to the viewers
Yeah.
and not
Silence.
go
Give
that
the
way.
viewers what they
In
want.
In fact,
That's
I've
what
been
we're all about.
and I've been demoted to back to the
Couch
Couch
potato
potatoes.
couch. Yeah.
But that's a great place to be. Demoted.
It is.
That's where you want to be demoted. Anyway, let's get to some Arizona facts.
Let's do it. The state flower is the saguaro, which is a blossom of the saguaro cactus.
Makes sense.
Might be saguaro.
Yeah.
That might be
I
what
think
it
it's
is.
saguaro.
Saguaro.
Yeah.
I always go to John for
I think that was coming.
It's Spanish /
gonna be-
Mexican lingo.
Gonna be a lot,
Authority.
I think, with Drew
Spanish
Hudson.
authority. Yeah. Yeah, when he finds a joke that
Do
is
Mexicans
funny,
roll their R's?
depends.
Cigarro.
I think it might be
Arriba.
Depend on.
Arriba.
That sounds. I don't know.
There it is. We found out they do.
Okay, because Hudson.
Yep. This saguaro cactus has a pure white waxy blossom. It's of the giant cactus.
Mm.
The state bird is a cactus wren. They build their nests in the
Interesting.
cactuses.
Did we see?
Cacti.
Did we see that? We saw cactus.
We saw some cactus.
We
Yeah.
saw a bunch of cactus plants, and several different kinds. Are the saguaro the ones that look like kind of they got the arms out?
Yep.
Okay.
The stereotypical ones that you see in
Yeah.
like westerns and
Yeah. Okay.
Well, as our Uncle Danny said, that's where they filmed a lot of
Yeah, that
westerns.
makes
sense.
in
Oh, yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
He said a lot of them were filmed in Arizona.
Especially when we came down we went up on the west side through Flagstaff to the Grand Canyon, and that was like northern Wisconsin, northern Michigan kind of pine trees, grass stuff. When we came down, remember it was red granite type. You could almost imagine western
yeah. Mhm.
type things being filmed there. Yeah.
Yep.
We've been there.
Oh yeah.
The state tree, it's a blue Palo Verde, which is a little bit interesting. I think probably Damon could probably show a picture of this, but Palo Verde in Spanish, anybody know what that means?
something green.
Yeah.
Oh,
something
green.
Green.
Oh, verde. Yeah.
Green stick. So it's a blue green stick or blue stick green because Palo is first.
But they with Spanish they do like the describing
Last.
word last.
Yeah,
So
that's very true.
stick green. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm wondering-
blue green stick.
If you want to maybe have kind of a Spanish course.
Well, I would only
sometime,
be able to run
'cause
it with
you know-
John. That's the only way I'd be able to. He'd be the professor and I'd be the teacher's aid, the teacher's help.
I just
No
know.
comment. No comment.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep going. Just keep feeding these facts.
Trying to. State
True.
motto.
Yes.
Dietat do us. I almost said deuce, but I probably stay away from that. It's Latin for God enriches. That's the state motto.
You try that one more time.
I don't want to.
Please.
So they have a
They have a motto.
motto, and it's Latin.
It sure is.
That makes it highbrow. That makes it.
Yeah.
Remember we
Yeah,
talked about
we did
that.
talk about
well,
that already.
Alabama had one that was Latin as well.
Yeah, that makes you look smart. Makes you sound smart.
Yep.
Makes it like you really know what you're talking about when you put something in Latin.
It's official.
Yep.
State animal or the mammal. That's usually what when I type in state animal, they always pull up the state mammal.
Okay.
It's the ringtail. It is not really a cat, but is related to the raccoon and codamundi, but I don't know what that is. The ringtail is a small fox-like animal about 2 1/2 feet long, and it is a shy nocturnal creature.
2 1/2 feet long. That's 18 inches. Or no, 24 plus 6 would be 30.
That's
Yeah.
a fairly good
Or-
size.
Is that body
Or
length?
it's like this
And it's
for
the
a
one-
man with one
Oh,
arm.
the one-armed fisherman story. It was
Yeah,
that big.
That's that big.
True.
Yep.
Interesting.
Damon could probably put a picture on there as well. I've never seen them before. They're kind of interesting looking.
That when Damon does a nice job when he puts pictures on there. I think that really adds to the podcast, and it adds to
The viewer's
It
experience.
actually
experience.
It
I
brings
mean,
to life a
it's-
lot of
it's
your stories too.
Yeah.
Like the pictures do it. Just
not that they
our
need
stories,
to.
whatever.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
The state insect is a two-tailed swallowtail butterfly. So two-tailed swallowtail. I don't know if it's referencing the fact that they've said tail twice in the insect name. I don't know. But he gets to put a picture of that as well. The state nickname is the Grand Canyon State, which makes sense. And I remember when we went to the Grand Canyon, we didn't have a ton of money back at that point. So I just remember it being a very quick glimpse at it. I don't think we went on, they've got, the rafting that you can do. They've got like
horseback riding
and
we were on a budget. We were on a big time
budget. To say
budget.
we're on a budget would
15 minutes. We were there for probably 15
well,
minutes.
I think there was a couple things. One, and I've said this before, you get to the Grand Canyon, and a lot of people have been there, I know, maybe multiple times. But when I got there, it was just like, I don't know what to do with this. It's such a big hole. And you can stand there and look at it, but it's not real. It's almost like it's not real. Mm-hmm. And so you just look at it, and you're looking at something that's not real. And so I couldn't look at it that long. I mean, I wanted to take it all in, and it's like you can't take it all in. It's just too
it's always
big.
there.
It's
always there. That's what I was like thinking about with my trip to Zion. It's like, this is always here. I go back home to Little Mazomania, and it's like, that's still there.
What we didn't do is bring somebody along that had already been there and reacted to it, like you and Dimitri.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'd have been nice to have somebody go along with us and really give us the full experience.
Yeah, it's true.
If it wasn't for Danny and Sandy, Mom's aunt and uncle, then I think they did a lot. I mean, we lived with them basically, and they bought us stuff. I think they rented the van for us or something. Boy.
Yep.
That was
We wouldn't
roughly
have
nice. No, we wouldn't have.
Nope.
That was how many years ago now?
2004.
I was 7.
3.
Yeah, I was 7.
Okay.
2003. It was a fun time, though. Fun time had by all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, here are some fun facts. They had 50 for the 50 states, but I tell you what, there were a large number of not so fun facts. They were fine, but like one of the fun facts is that Arizona contains the Grand Canyon in it. It was like, well, if you don't know that, then
And your nickname is the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
State.
And who honestly, I mean, who comes up with the fun facts?
I mean,
who's the person? Because we all know people in our lives that they think they're funny, but they're not funny. And so they put them in charge of the fun or funny facts.
Someone like me. They put someone like me in charge of that. That
Yeah, I
wasn't a
mean,
good idea.
it's not a strength of yours.
No, it's not.
Your strength is saying things
That make other people laugh.
Yeah, and people reacting to you thinking
I'm
it's
funny in that way. Yes,
that's what's funny
including
about
himself.
You. Yes.
I'm here for a good time. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, here are some fun facts. The Arizona trout is found only in Arizona. Hence the name. Although I suppose, there are some fish or other species that, roam, but it's called the state name.
Keep going.
So if there's like a river or whatever that they're in, and it comes right up to the next state, it just makes sure that it stays in that.
Right. It's not a Utah
It knows
trout.
its borders.
Right. Yep. Or or a New Mexico trout. It's an Arizona
Just
trout.
stops immediately if that river or whatever goes into a different state.
Yeah.
It just stays right in
stays
Arizona.
put. It knows exactly where those
Who
boundaries are.
monitors that?
Yeah.
Is what
Well,
I'd
sure
like
know
to
my boundaries.
You get that.
That's my favorite.
The saguaro is the largest American cactus. So the saguaro cactus is the largest of the American cacti.
That's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact, and that's
How big do they grow? Do we know?
I should have put that down. I
12
knew there'd
feet
be a
tall,
question
maybe?
that I could answer.
Why did you?
No, I don't know. That just seems like a. I was thinking 15. I think that's a tall cactus.
But where are you getting those numbers?
I was just throwing it out
from?
there.
I mean, I didn't know if you had done some studying.
This was not a like I know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I just
okay.
was throwing
You're
it.
just
I was like,
okay.
What if they
12
were 15
feet, maybe?
12 feet.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be a really tall cactus.
Well, yeah, but we don't know.
We have never.
I know. I'm just saying that. Man, was this a witness stand? I tell you.
I was wondering if we could know for sure. Can you look that up on your phone?
Oh, he doesn't have his.
That's right over there.
Okay.
Let me see. Watch this right here. We have technology.
We are not cavemen.
Okay, man.
We have.
All right, let's see here. Characteristics. This is right here. This is what we're going to get right here. 12 meters tall.
That's 3 feet in a meter.
Times 12, so 36 feet. Yep.
Oh,
So they can be 36 feet tall.
And these
Yep.
people looking at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't
Well, you
know what
shot
I
way
was.
low.
Yeah.
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 And that's
You were
not
talking
usually normal
baby.
for me.
Yeah.
yeah, little baby.
Baby cactus.
Just so we know what we're
These
talking
look
about here
huge.
is, I just thought you knew, and so you were bringing like 15 to 17 feet, and then it was all hypothetical, and so I was wondering.
That doesn't
Then you were gonna
jive
tell
with
a
what you guys
story.
have always said about me is that I don't know what I'm talking about. So for you to believe me, that's impressive.
Oh well, it's your podcast.
That's true. I'm just glad that I wasn't wrong. I mean, I was wrong
You
technically.
were wrong.
You were
Yeah,
wrong.
You guys were thinking I
But
was
you were
wrong
in the
because it was
neighborhood,
too
I
big.
guess.
Yeah,
You thought I was
you erred
overshot
on the side. You just changed your
I didn't
reputation
think-
of
in
not
one
being-
comment.
Yeah.
I didn't think 12 feet was too large. No, I don't.
Did
feel
you
like
think it was? Did you think they would be quite tall? Did you think they'd be 36 feet
No, I didn't think
tall?
that.
I didn't have any
idea.
He threw out 12, and I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
I remember because we went to the Saguaro National Forest,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some that they had that were good size. I guess I wouldn't have guessed 36
yeah.
feet, but
Yeah.
there were some that were clearly 2-3 times the size of me, which is not very large, but
Be about 12 feet then.
there you go. Perfect.
It's too bad.
All right. So Arizona leads the nation in copper production. Going right along with that, the amount of copper on the roof of the Capitol building in Arizona, Phoenix, is equivalent to 4.8 million pennies. It's hard to get your arms around that.
Yeah,
No.
that's-
I don't even know what 4.8, I don't even know what that looks like. I know what 100 pennies looks like.
Are there? Oh, there's got to be 4.8 million pennies in circulation, probably.
Don't have that information. I was going Arizona specific, not
Okay, my bad.
not pennies.
Not national.
No. Petrified wood is the official state fossil. Most petrified wood comes from the petrified forest in northeastern Arizona. So that's the official state fossil.
Interesting.
Seems like we're kind of getting
And those
out
are
there.
basically trees that are like rocks now, right?
They're
They-
petrified.
Yeah. Okay.
The bola tie is the official state neckwear. See, we're kind of getting out. I mean, I don't know if that's information that
That's
anybody
those
cares
that
about.
cinch up, right? The bola tie.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually got like a
Medallion
yeah,
or
or
some
something
sort
on
of
it. Yeah, like a
sure,
weird little
turquoise,
string. Yeah,
turquoise
exactly.
stone or
Yep.
something on there.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
look cool. Some of them.
Put one of those on
We had
Hudson.
them on.
Come on,
Oh,
put
yeah,
one of those.
right here.
Yep.
Some
Yeah.
sort of vest I can wear.
There you go. In 1926, the Southern Pacific Railroad connected Arizona with the eastern states. 1926. That was. I think they became a state in 1912, so that was 14 years after the fact.
Wonder how long it took them to connect. Like how far they had to connect. Like completely to the did they have obviously they had railroads from
Railroads. Very large railroads.
roided up railroads.
Yeah.
They had railroads that came from the east to certain states, but then
They sure
how
did.
much more did they have to put together? How much track did they have to lay for there to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, outside my knowledge base there. I don't know.
Okay, those are just things that I'm chewing
What
on.
I think
right now.
happens with this is we don't do it on purpose, but I think we leave a bridge of information left unspanned, and then people, because they're seeking knowledge, that's kind of our role. Is we throw it out there, and then we ask the questions. We don't have the answers, and people then go and educate themselves.
Well, that's what we're
We're
hoping.
leading the horse, if you will.
Yeah, and then
can't-
they go and they and it's again, we're all about education here.
And
As far as-
curiosity.
and curiosity.
And just,
we want to
tickling
know.
that
We want to
curious
know
bone.
also the truth. We're here to get the truth about those things too.
We don't typically we don't go searching it though. We have the capability of doing it, but I tell you what, that'd be a 4-hour podcast if we went down every rabbit trail and found the answer to some of these questions that we're posing.
Well, and what we should do is we should probably follow up each week with all of these questions, but we don't. No. We're the type of people that once the podcast is done, boom, we're on to the next thing. No, we don't look back. No.
It's not.
We don't critique ourselves. We probably should.
We want other people to critique us.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Why?
Comments. Put it in the comments.
Throw them at me.
Yep.
Nothing you guys have, nothing other people can say can hurt me as much as the stuff you guys have said.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Psychological.
I'm just kidding.
You just have a psychological part of this. Huddy on the couch.
Yep.
Okay,
laying down. Therapy sessions. Bisbee, located in Tombstone Canyon, is known as the Queen of the Copper Mines. During its mining history, the town was the largest city between St. Louis and San Francisco. That's kind of interesting. So St. Louis, I think, is right on the Mississippi. So that's quite a bit of, I mean, you got Kansas in between there. You got Nebraska. You got, parts of Texas, I think. Oh, that's interesting. So it must have been pretty good size back then. All right.
Got about 5 minutes.
Okay. The state's precipitation varies. At Flagstaff, where we were at, the annual average is 18.31 inches. Phoenix averages 7.64 inches. And Yuma, all the way over by California, averages 3.26 inches.
Of rain each year?
Yep.
Well, that's desert.
Makes sense because of all the changes like you talked about earlier. Flagstaff was quite green and woody. And then obviously the Grand Canyon and stuff wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't. Maybe it's over by Yuma. I have no idea.
That's where Flagstaff was, or I was up by Grand Canyon.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Well, it changes as you get up farther.
Yeah. A couple 10, 15 miles would change.
I was 7.
All right. The Arizona ridge-nosed rattlesnake is perhaps the most beautiful of all 11 species of rattlesnakes found in Arizona. That's just a quick
boom.
That's somebody's opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of all the rattlesnakes, I don't know if I would call any of them beautiful.
No.
I mean, if you look at them, their designs, it's pretty impressive. But, yeah. Who's to say that they have like a council of rattlesnake, a beauty contest, and they decided which one was more beautiful?
This person did.
Yeah.
All right, the Four Corners is noted as the spot in the United States where a person can stand in 4 states at the same time. Quickly, without doing too much thinking, we'll go around here. Name the 4 states.
One at a time? Or what?
Go ahead, give us all 4 that you think are those 4 states.
Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico?
Okay, you do the 4.
Well, the first 3 in Nevada, I'm going to go with.
Oh, no.
Okay.
The first 3 in Idaho.
John was right.
Nice, Johnny.
John was right.
See, he got nervous. You see, he got nervous because of Hudson's answer.
What did I say?
I don't know why he got nervous about that.
Well, yeah, why would that?
You threw Nevada in there. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
I knew it wasn't Idaho. That's way up.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Oh, wow. So
that'd be quite.
Nervous
I don't
because
know
of this.
some
It was more
long legs.
confident
I don't
because
know
of
some
my
this.
real long
boundaries
legs.
I sure don't know
very
your
well.
boundaries.
I sure don't know my boundaries very
So
well.
it's New Mexico
Hope they don't change them.
to the east, Colorado to the northeast, Utah directly north, and then Arizona. Those
Can
are
you
the
imagine
4.
if it did? You could do Idaho because you're touching basically Mexico, and then Idaho touches parts of
John,
Canada.
you don't need to keep bringing
So
up
you'd be
my faux
touching-
pas.
Some long legs.
Long legs.
Yeah. Stretch.
Yep.
Wow.
Stretch Armstrong.
I think we got time for one more unless we want to stretch this out.
We do, because we got some weird laws.
Okay. Let's do, what do you want to do? You want to?
I'll finish up these last couple here.
Okay, we've got a minute and a half.
Perfect. I know exactly how to. I've got it.
Boom.
All right.
All right.
In 1939, architect Frank Lloyd Wright's studio, Taliesin West, was built near Phoenix. I didn't know that he did out there. Because we got a Taliesin that's real close to us. That's why I brought that
15
in
miles
here.
away.
Is that
Beautiful.
Taliesin Midwest? Or would that be East?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's just Taliesin.
Okay.
Arizona became the 48th state on February 14th, 1912. We didn't add another state until what was it? 1958, I think. So that was a long time. At one time, camels were used to transport goods across Arizona.
No.
And that's the last one I had there, because probably the deserty.
Caravans.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Boy,
didn't have.
that was very
Informative.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. We will be right back with some
Weird laws.
interesting weird laws.
Yeah.
Stay with us.
Stay with us.
Please.
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 Wow.
Don't go anywhere.
All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
All right.
Here's some weird laws. Are we ready
Let's
to go?
go for it.
All
Yeah,
right, let's do it.
we're back.
So I've seen this in other places too, but this is no spitting in public places.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I brought this is this is going to be the third podcast that we've got Goodyear. In Goodyear, Arizona,
Oh, okay.
there's a Goodyear, Arizona. I feel like this is just all connecting here. We're just filling time and space with connections here. It's illegal for any person to spit on the public sidewalks, highways, or crosswalks. It's also illegal to spit on any public path or in a park or public building.
The
Public building makes sense.
Yep.
If you spit outside a public building like City Hall, you could be found guilty.
That makes sense.
The fine could be up to $2,500 or 6 months in prison. I thought it'd be kind of funny if you spit outside, you got 6 months in prison, then you're spitting in prison, and then they just kept racking it up for you. Kind of be interesting, because that's also public buildings. So, yeah.
Well, I guess I could see how maybe like with this COVID scare and how everybody was so nervous about that, and you know that spitting that could be a relatively new law,
Right.
Any kind of spit stuff that you're spraying around, but that's pretty old one, probably, I would guess.
Yeah.
Isn't Michigan like that? You
Well,
can't spit on sidewalks or something?
I think even in Mazo, you're not supposed to spit on sidewalks. In one sense, it's kind of
Yeah.
You know,
is.
if
Little
you got
gross.
stuff in your nose and your throat, and then you got chewing tobacco or something, they don't want that on the street.
It's a little gross.
Although, think about 100 years ago, you're using horses. So kind of what's the difference? You've got
Or
horse
sewers,
manure.
sewers run into the streets.
Yeah.
So,
And who cares if you're spitting on?
yeah,
I mean,
spit
it's
feels like
kinda-
a little bit of like
yeah.
the last, like who cares?
That's kind of window
least of it,
dressing.
yeah.
It's kind of like
I agree with
gonna-
that. I agree with that notion.
I think, well, and again, it also makes sense like in bigger cities where you've got so much traffic, foot traffic, like New York, other places like that. You spit on the ground, somebody's going to walk right over
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Around here, in rural America, it's kind of like, you walk out your front door and there's no sidewalk or anything. You just kind of, if you spit on the ground, what's the big deal?
or getting
I didn't even think about it, honestly.
That's bad. Getting dog dung, in your thing, or gum. Even
Gum's
that's
tough.
not good.
don't want that.
because it's hard to get it out of your shoes and stuff.
Hope it's in the
especially if you
winter,
got-
not in the summer.
Yeah.
Because that's sticky.
Yep, true. Don't dig up and move a cactus. Arizona's most popular plants are the diverse cacti. Arizona loves its cacti population in a way that someone can face up to 25 years in prison for cutting one cactus down. They talk about the endangered saguaro cactus is considered a state treasure.
Oh, that's why they're taking it.
Yep, they require extra protection, 25 years.
Can you make things out of that?
I don't
Out of
know.
the cactus, like you can't eat
I don't know if you can
parts
eat
of it. Can you?
I don't know.
Why would that be? Why would they be endangered? Is it because too many people out there, building cities, or is it people just hack them down because what they want
It's
it?
fun. Don't cactus hold water? Like, so if you were like in the desert and you were dying and you're like,
I didn't know if that was a myth or not.
I need water, but you're like, but I can't afford to spend 25 years in prison. So you don't.
Well, yeah, then you might have to take that chance. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you can drink the
I don't-
fluid in
I don't
there.
know.
I thought I read something. that you
Maybe it's
could, but I might
poisonous
be
or
wrong.
something, or it's just there's not fluid in there.
I think there's fluid in there, but I'm not sure that. I think I used to see shows where they'd cut the top off and drink out of it or something, but I don't know if that's true or not.
All right.
Tried to look it up real quick.
Yeah.
It just basically says to protect rare and culturally significant plant species. The law protects desert plants from theft, vandalism, and unnecessary destruction, i.e. removal on any lands. So
Okay.
I feel like that
transplanting, I
added
guess.
very little
Yeah.
to the discussion, but That's what I found.
It's all right. We appreciate you searching.
You bet. All right. Don't ignore the stupid motorist law. Do you drive on a flooded road? ? If you know the road is barricaded by officials, then you should better be ready. That doesn't really make sense. Then you should be ready to pay for your rescue. Arizona's stupid motorist law is the nickname for this statute. This statute was passed in 1995. It says that any driver who willingly bypasses police-enforced barricades and becomes trapped is liable for emergency rescue costs. So, it's kind of interesting.
That's actually on the books. That's what it's called.
Yep, stupid motorist law. So I don't know. They got tired of people,
Being stupid.
driving past those barricades and needing help.
That's weird.
Don't feed garbage to a pig. Wow, that was a little hot there. I'm sorry about
really
that.
hot. Sorry.
Turn him down a bit.
Speak a little bit, Drew. Which one are you?
I'm I don't know.
Four.
My pump 1, 2. What pump am I on here? Is that a radio term?
Nope. That would be the,
Did you catch that?
I don't know. We won't get into that.
Gas pump?
It'd be just too technical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, you read that correctly. Don't feed garbage to a pig. But you must be thinking, why on earth would someone feed garbage to a pig? Sorry, we don't know that. But if you are desirous to do that, you must obtain a permit. And again, are you looking for a loophole? There is good news for you. You may feed your household garbage to a pig that you raise for your use.
Okay, that makes sense.
The Arizona law allows you to do that.
Well, I always thought that's when you call slopping the pigs. I always thought you took slop out from what was left over and
Corn on the
all
cob
sorts of
and-
stuff like that. And pigs just kind of ate everything. I didn't think that would be illegal. But it makes sense that you can do your own that.
Yeah, you just
Can't feed 'em
can't. You
trash.
can't feed other
Go
pigs
around
garbage.
feeding other people's pigs
Yeah.
stuff. Like pull up to a farmer with a bunch of pigs and start
Toss your
just
garbage
feeding.
out there.
Oh,
That
maybe
might be the
okay.
issue.
Yeah.
That might be the
Oh,
issue.
Getting
true.
rid of your garbage and
Refuse.
yeah. Okay. Now
Maybe
that's
that's
starting
what
to
it
make.
is.
Now it's starting to
Garbage.
really connect.
Maybe people just saw, hey, there's a big pig farm. I'm going to just go drop my trash off in there.
Yeah. Good point.
Makes sense.
I don't know if that's what happened.
Makes
but
sense to me.
That makes more sense now. A lot more sense. Okay,
Are we coming to the end?
we got
Oh.
we got one more.
Okay.
Yeah, hang on. This is gonna be the best one. Animals have vehicle rights. Are you riding a horse in Arizona? Then you should follow the regular traffic laws. Arizona residents often ride horses. Again, it's very common to see animals on the road. That is why Arizona laws afford the same protections and rights to animals just as motor vehicles. This goes the same with donkeys, camels, and any other animal whose back you can place yourself on. So a pig or something, I guess, too. Considering that, just don't feed
You can
that
ride
pig
it, yeah.
garbage.
You just can't feed it garbage.
You can wrestle a bear and ride its back into Arizona. They have
Just
no
don't
laws. Don't
find
wrestling.
yourself in Alabama by accident,
don't ride
though.
that
then.
bear to don't ride that bear to Alabama.
It's
Go
gonna
You'll
lead
be
to
in
wrestle.
a lot of trouble.
Hey, one quick question. Did you have something else on there?
Class
just
B
finish
felony.
this.
I'm sorry.
Also, a horse-pulled carriage is considered a motor vehicle under Arizona laws. I remember that from Aunt Sandy and Uncle Danny.
They have Amish there?
I don't know.
Okay.
And also, it is illegal to spook a horse that someone is riding.
That makes sense.
So,
like honk the horn.
But
or
I
something.
remember Aunt Sandy was talking about why the roads are pretty wide there. It's so that you still have the ability to take a carriage and do a U-turn all the way around.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Cool.
That's what she said. That's not a part of any of this. That's just knowledge I got right here from Sandy.
Wow.
Aunt Sandy.
Yep.
That's what happens when you're an expert of Arizona.
You just packed that away and brought it, boom, just like that, brought it up. Did you plan on bringing that up when you went through that?
Didn't even
Or-
know I
or
was
did-
going to do it.
Boom.
Game time
just like
decision.
that. Game
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Hey,
We got some fun holidays too.
Oh,
but you go
go.
ahead.
No.
I'm gonna get in your way.
No, I've got the final question.
Oh,
Okay,
you want
go
the
ahead.
final
Final
word?
question, because I want it to be something that just ends, because there are some people that really like Arizona. There's some people that live in Arizona. We have so many listeners across the United
globe.
States
Yep.
that we're going to have so many
Cross Mesomania.
and we're going to have so many people that want to hear our opinion about Arizona, and that's what I'm going to ask just as we
Okay.
close up shop here today.
You wanna tie it up in a nice bow tie.
Yep, bola
That's what
tie.
you wanna
Yep,
do.
very good.
Yeah, you like
Bringing
that.
it all together.
All right, here's a couple fun holidays. I've got 3 again. Video game day. So get your video game playing in. We used to have a rule at our house about video game playing.
Let's not bring that up.
You had to set the alarm for your video game time. So some of us were a little better at it than others about setting their time.
Mm-hmm.
Some people didn't keep track. I think you had to write it in a book, didn't you?
I don't know if we went that far, but I think we were supposed to do like 30 minutes.
Well,
and some of us would get into our game and then go set the time. I would do that sometimes.
Rules that were set by parents that didn't grow up playing video games, because a half an hour of video games is not very much.
Not a lot, no.
That's That's more like torture.
I used to not be able to play video games, so when I got to, I would just overindulge.
But that wasn't a parenting thing. That was
Petit mal seizures.
Was your seizures.
Yeah. No, yeah, but when I got the go-ahead to start playing video games.
Did you ever?
I played.
Remember that one time at Michigan, you got in the car crying because you'd spent so much time.
On the way there in the car, I had said that I was planning on spending more time outside. I don't think I spent any time out there playing. It's just in the basement playing video games the whole time.
You should have gotten to July 1st and had to take a look at your resolution.
Yeah.
Review your resolution.
Mid-year
I'm not sure I would have kept it either way.
Yeah, I don't think you were. You were planning on it.
You were video deprived, video game deprived,
aholic.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
So part and parcel with video game day is Be a Kid Again Day.
Oh.
Reminding adults to be a kid again. They have all sorts of studies and stuff about how, psychologically it's good to be young or to, it's like, well, of course it's good to be young.
Yeah, as if we need to be told that.
Yeah. You don't need any study for that.
Did they give any examples of what people do?
I just young
play
at
video
heart,
games
play video games
all day.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pay your bills because you don't have any. Don't go to work.
Yeah,
it's all fun and games.
Yeah, that would have been good today. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
And then the last one
wait.
What's that?
You only worked one day this week.
I know, but it was tough.
Oh, sorry.
That one day was tough.
Feel about that.
Dad dropped his voiceover mug.
Yeah,
it didn't
Gonna have to replace
it.
that at vomerch.com.
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. And I knew I brought this along for you because I knew you'd like this one. This one's Freezer Pop Day. So for the Freezy Pops.
Nice.
Freezy Pops. Those are a childhood. If that was one way you could be a child again, I'd be all for that. That's the way that I would be a child again day, is have a Freezy Pop.
Well, you can do that.
Because that was a childhood. That was that was one of the nice things that we had was Freezy Pops.
Could you have those? Because remember, you couldn't have like colored dye and stuff like that.
I couldn't, but I think by the time I was 10, I lost my seizures. I grew out of them, so I could start to, because I couldn't have dairy products. I couldn't have like sweets, stuff like that, supposedly.
Since you lost them, I hope you don't find them again.
Yeah, true.
What were you going to say, Johnny?
Well, that Freezy Pops would be great for Arizona.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Yep.
So, very good point.
So here's my question. Thanks for bringing that. So here's my question. Around the room,
all right.
When we went to Arizona, now that's been 18 years ago, but you can remember back, what was your favorite part or thing about the trip, John? Do you remember? What did you enjoy the most about the Arizona trip? Were there multiple things or just what was the top thing, the best thing?
Well, I think I really like warm weather.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. But the different types of topography, that was fun to go see all that different stuff throughout the state. Yeah. But yeah, definitely the warm weather was great.
Warm and dry weather.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember we were in Phoenix swimming in the swimming pool at the hotel and I think it was like 109, 110 degrees.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it was hot.
But it wasn't
dry
muggy.
It was a dry heat. Mm-hmm. That's how they always say.
Yep.
What about you, Harris Brando?
My favorite, because I was 7, we went to that zoo. There was like a mountain lion, and I think there were lots of different, obviously other animals, but they had, a guy was holding a big snake. Remember that? A big white one, and we got to touch it.
Yes, I do remember that now, yeah.
Stuff like, maybe I even got to put it around our neck if we wanted to, or he held on. Anyway,
nobody wanted to do that.
I
think I did.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to put it around your neck.
Anyway, probably the zoo.
Okay. Nice. Was that in Tucson or was that
I don't remember.
Okay.
We went with
I don't remember either.
Aunt Sandy and Uncle Dan, and there was a mountain lion that was eating a carcass of something, and yeah.
How about you, Dookie?
There's just so many things.
Just everything.
Just flooding.
Just everything.
You almost
All of
it
a
seems
sudden, I
like
just
you're
was just hit
seems
with
like your
all of these
emotion and seems like your
emotions.
emotion. are
Arizona
getting-
emotions. Yeah. I liked the Chiricahuas that we went, Chiricahua Mountains.
Yeah,
That was neat.
That's where Geronimo was hanging out.
Did we see clouds and rain below us?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
what that
thunderstorm,
was.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we saw that up there. Yeah, yep. That was a lot of fun. The warm weather was really nice. I like warm weather as well. But yeah, there was quite a bit that were kind of cool about. I remember Uncle Danny was talking about how, and I didn't believe him at the time, how scattered the rain showers could be there. And he told us as we were driving at night that you could have like a cloud that was like above the other lane, like so not your 2 lanes here, but on the other side of the highway that would be raining and you wouldn't have any rain. And coming from the Midwest, you're like, yeah, you can't have that scattered of clouds. But we saw it a couple times.
We saw that. Yeah, you could see it.
Where it was just like a little wisp of clouds that was raining a little
that
bit,
was
and it
neat.
was just a little ways away from you. So,
Yeah. What about yours, Dad?
I think my favorite was, and this is going to sound like I'm trying to top you all, but it was just doing that as a family because we had never gone on any kind of big trip. You know, we'd gone up
That was the first one, I
to
think.
camp, like family camp on a weekend.
Michigan,
we had
probably.
gone to Michigan. We'd done some things around here, you know, but that was a big adventure. And since then, you know, we've gone to Texas, down to Houston and such, and we've gone to Florida a few times, and so we've traveled a little more. And you guys have traveled a little more since you've been
it's the first
older,
time
but
on a plane for I think some of us.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was.
first for me.
Yeah. So lots of good memories about Arizona. What is next?
Arkansas?
Arkansas?
I think so.
Arkansas. All right. Well, that'll be maybe our 16th episode. So today was our 15th.
Unless something just comes up that we just say we've got to
Yeah.
handle. Something on the day, something just comes to people's minds, because that's what happens when you're dealing with as creative of minds as we have in this circle. And
Downstairs,
people
yeah.
that are downstairs right now.
Yeah.
But
We have to be very careful with our creativity though, because that's a Monday Tuesday thing. So
Yeah.
very good. Yep. We can only be creative on Monday and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us once again. If you're not interested in voiceover stuff, feel free to skip ahead to the last segment. That's where we get to do this stuff. And if you're interested in all of it, obviously you can watch all of it.
unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait to the last segment now to skip ahead.
That's true. Yeah. You're going to watch it all the way. And you're like, oh, I
Could've
wish you would have
skipped
said
it.
that earlier.
Yeah, I wish I
Could've
had
skipped all
permission
that.
before.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Now you have permission on future episodes.
ones,
So
yeah.
that's good.
so we will see you next week. Same time, same place. Thanks.